So yeah, I just want to be famous, man. Do you remember that song? We all want to be famous and bring them pounds in. Why is every lyric na for you? Yeah, because I don't remember the lyrics. Because I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. Do you remember that song? I obviously don't. Na 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 na, everything missing. Oh, Courtney, this is my song. Na 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 na. That was like yesterday.
Crazy beat, right?
Look at this, man.
It's actually happening. Oh my.
No, honestly, I'm so, like, I don't think you understand how gassed I am to be filming with Courtney. Like, she doesn't actually realise, but I love this girl so much.
Oh, Missy!
Like, you actually don't.
My little sister must have messaged me like, Courtney. I was like, yeah. Do you know Missy? I was like, yeah, she's my friend. Wow!
Oh, hi Courtney's sister. That people have been Snapchatting me, like sending me basically pictures of them watching you and being like, and then one person was like, she goes to your uni, you should say hi. I was thinking, if you even knew that me and Courtney are boys.
We're boys. No. This woman is so inspirational, so beautiful. Just listen, goals.
I hope. Yeah. But anyway, we should actually start maybe this video.
Today we're gonna talk about dreaming big.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys know about Missy, to be honest. And this
just in case they don't.
Just in case you don't. Go to www.youtube.com/NissyT.
There we go.
But yeah, she is. In fact, you explain yourself.
Explain myself in terms of like my ambitions.
Yeah. Like, what do you do?
What do I want to do? Okay, so kind of to try and keep it as short as possible. I am a presenter. I am both on radio and online. I obviously do YouTube as well. So I've been doing YouTube for about a year and a bit now. I'm also a host as well. I also do interviews, so people can hire me to do interviews for them, etc. I host loads of events, like various events. Essentially anything to do with talking. I also occasionally go to schools, do talks, do like whenever there's like a panel discussion or something like that. I've been invited to come and do talks and stuff. So anything to do with talking, I do. Essentially, I'm all about motivation. My slogan is be educated, be beautiful, which essentially means that, listen, as well as the flicks on here, you gotta make sure you got something going on in here, okay? And essentially, I plan to build an empire. I am in the process of building my empire. I wanna rule the world. I wanna change the world. I have a lot of plans and ideas of what I wanna do in the future, which I'm still keeping on the hush hush, but just know that I'm someone that I don't believe in limits. Motivation, inspiration, all of that, that's me.
No, it's amazing, like, to want to move into something which is outside of academics, because especially when you come here, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go and be a barrister, I'm gonna go and write a couple of books, I'm going to go and work in an investment bank, and it's like, when you don't really want to do that, to really stick to that dream, it takes a lot of like determination to really stick and just say, like, I'm not gonna sell myself out of what I ideally wanted to do. Like, it's all cool wanting to do those things, but when you have a dream outside of that, it's like, wow.
And it's a little bit different as well, because coming to somewhere like Cambridge, a lot of people do want to go into kind of like the more traditional roles. So not that that's a bad thing. If that's what you want to go and do it, kill it in your industry and become the best. But a lot of people do want to go into financial stuff, or kind of like either or law, or those kind of roles, kind of like the traditional jobs. And then there's people like myself who is in love with media and essentially wants to change the world through media, and because I just feel like it has a massive impact on us and on people, especially on young people, and it's kind of scary sometimes.
It is, because you don't, their road seems so set, and then you don't really know what you're doing,
or you know what you're doing, but the way in which you're gonna get to there is not gonna be like, okay, so I have to go to uni. So for example, with law, go to uni, go to law school, then maybe like train to be a barrister. You know that it's all academic and you have a kind of a linear path. Whereas with creatives or with Madame over here, you haven't even said what you want to do.
Basically.
Yes. Go on,
I haven't really said this on my channel before, but I want to be an entrepreneur, and I want to be a motivational speaker, kind of, you know, on the side. So that's kind of just all that I wanted to do. I kind of want to work in the beauty industry, and yeah, doing motivational speaking. I want to go around like the whole world, just inspiring people like you guys to really dream big and really like realize your worth as just human beings, and understanding how to develop relationships with different people. Yeah, so that's basically what I want to do, you know.
See, world domination over here as well.
Yeah.
That's it.
What are your motivations for dreaming that big?
I always say it, even on my channel, I say the main motivation for me is my family. So my sisters and my mum. My mum has done a lot. Like, I've never actually mentioned this before, but I feel like I need to mention it more. But my mum has actually invested a lot into my dreams. So for example, my Canon that I use, Canon 650D, this girl's got an upgrade for me, but it's alright. Canon 650D that I use, she actually bought it for me. It cost £330, and bearing in mind, listen, we're not rich. I come from, I've said it before, and I'm proud to say I come from a very working class background where it's been like, everything that you've had to get, you've had to work very hard for. And I think my mum has seen that, and especially because I've worked as well, like as in to make money, but also academically, I maintained my grades and I worked hard. And so when it came to stuff like this, and she could see that I was struggling to pay for stuff like this, she was like, okay, I'm gonna invest in what you're doing. I didn't actually realize until recently, but my mum has invested so much time, and my mum has watched every single one of my videos. There's not one video that my mum has not watched. So mum, you know I love you. She's my homie, she's my best friend.
Shout out to you, auntie.
Shout out, mummy. We love you. We love honestly the mums that are super supportive of their children's work or their kids' work, whatever. So my mum and my sisters, just because, you know, again, like I grew up in a very working class home. You wanted to do something and you just couldn't afford it. You just couldn't afford it. Like you just couldn't do it. And I've seen that happen with my sisters. Like I've mentioned this in a video before. My sister's an aspiring actor. And she's amazing, and she basically got into this acting school, but she couldn't go because we couldn't afford it. And then they were like, oh, we'll still give it at discounted prices, but even then it was still way too expensive. And that, I remember that particular day, how it made me feel, and I said I do not ever want my sisters to feel like that ever again. So that's always been my motivation. What about yours?
Like similar to you, I was like I come from a really working class background, but I didn't want to replicate that for my children, and I always wanted to do something that I love to do and make money out of it. And like you, like I used to hustle hard. So
she's told me like stories, like this girl has been, like you see this fleek here, this fleeky hair and all that, it's because she has been working in hairdressers. The stories that she has, honestly, like she has really, you've worked so hard. I've worked quite hard, and I've always taken like the initiative to just do my own thing.
I think that's what really does drive me. And then to see, like, my parents obviously came here like from Ghana like in the 90s, and to see that, you know, they have been able to do as much as they can. Now it's my turn to take that further. Like they've set me up, I can't rely on them forever. And I want people to understand kind of my story. Like I want to be an inspirational person, because I feel like a lot of the time when you've been like, you're meant to be a statistic, or you're put in a place where people turn out one way, I feel like you need to be recognized if you broke the stereotype a bit more. Like you need to put your story out there, because it can inspire so many different people. And especially I feel like in the African community, people don't want you to talk about your past, they just want you to seem like you've always had it together. And I feel like that's just, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't encourage anybody to change. You need to prove that you can get out of the situation that you used to be in. You can't just constantly be a, you know, oh, I've always been great, or I've always known what I wanted to do, or I've always been on the straight and narrow.
It's so crazy that you say that, because I don't know when this video is going to come out, but on my channel, I think by the time this comes out, the video should be out. I have a video called Why Are We in Such a Rush? And I talk about that a bit in my video, about the idea that people only see like the whole, when you're put together and you seem like you've got everything together, because that's what people notice. But when you're working and you're struggling and you've been grafting for years and years and years, nobody really pays attention to that, and people almost, like you said, don't really want to hear about that. But I think it's important to say stuff like that, that actually I've got a story, and you know, that actually inspires people, because then people that are in that position that you used to be in can say, do you know what, she used to be here as well, there is a way out.
Encountered any discouragement?
Have I encountered any discouragement? The only discouragement that I can actually think of in my head. So I've never mentioned this before, but essentially it was actually my dad, and I don't think even to this day he realizes that he kind of discouraged me a little bit. So initially when I first started my journey in terms of wanting to go into presenting and wanting to kind of do my own thing and also be an entrepreneur in that sense, I kind of like said to my parents, I was like, I want to go into journalism. I said journalism because journalism sounds better than, oh, I want to be a host or a presenter. Yeah. And then my dad, I don't know if it was just because he was just tired that day, but he was just like, And then you know one of them ones where you kind of look at someone and you're like, what do you mean?
What are you really saying?
Like, is there a problem? Because I mean, my mother seems to be very happy. Well, why are you questioning me?
Yeah.
But then basically he was like, he didn't even look at me, but I just remember him looking kind of like disinterested and just being like, to be honest, you should find something that actually pays. And that was it. And he didn't have to say a lot, but that was like a dagger in my heart because it made me feel like you don't believe in what I'm trying to do. Whereas my mom was like, yeah, okay, go for it. My dad was kind of like, well, basically saying it's not going to pay you, there's no point doing it, you're not going to get a good job, you're not going to make money, you're not going to be able to have the lifestyle that he knows that I want to have. So that was the only actual discouragement, and it's really sad that it came from my own dad. So essentially, if you have any, even if your parent is not really encouraging you in terms of what you're doing, maybe even just show them this, just to kind of say like, you know, we appreciate your opinions, and of course you know what's best for us. Like, our parents know us more than we know ourselves. That is completely, you know, completely correct, and I feel like we need to respect our parents in that sense. But it can also be very crushing and very demotivating if our parents, you said, yeah, I really want to do something, and then your parents are just like, meh.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I guess he was just weary and he wants me to do obviously better than they did. Yeah. So maybe if I said like law, he would have been like, okay, money's in the bank. Or if I said doctor, okay, you're gonna get that money. But that's not what I want to do. So, but now he's like completely like, he backs me now and he's very encouraging now. So.
Oh no, but you, come on, uncle. She's doing bits.
Listen, father. But no, what about you?
Daddy?
What about you? Any discouragement?
Yeah, surprisingly, mine was from my mum.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So my mum was very, obviously, like I said before, my mum has hustled hard for us to get where we were. So I guess like she saw my intelligence and she was like, Courtney, you're academically, like, you're so bright. Can you go and be a lawyer?
Some intelligence.
Go and be a lawyer for us. And my brother is a doctor, so it was kind of like,
really?
So, yeah.
How's your brother?
You want me to give you? He's married. Sorry, maybe it's.
She even said, you want me to?
He's married.
He's married. Okay. I'm not a home wrecker. Oh, yeah,
No.
Have a good marriage and God bless you both. I hope that you have a very blessed marriage to the few parts.
Amen. So my brother was a doctor. Is a doctor. So she was just like, go and be a lawyer. And I really wanted to be a lawyer up until I was about 17.
Wow.
And so when I started telling her, like, when she started asking me, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm trying to dodge around what I kind of wanted. So I was like, oh, I think I might go into consultancy. And then she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, actually, I think I might go into marketing. And the more I started digressing from what she wanted me to do, she was kind of giving me a bit of side eye. Then I started YouTube and I was like, Mummy, I think I really want to focus on like creating content, building a business, like really building myself as a brand and stuff. She was just, no.
Seriously?
Yeah, because she was just like, this is not, it's not certain. How do you know you're definitely going to get money? You know, it's going to distract you from your studies because it's not what you're doing. Like, and I get where she was coming from. She, like you're saying, your parents want what's best for you.
Yeah.
And, but it's sometimes annoying because they don't allow you to take risks. Like my dad allows me to take as many risks as I want. But my mum is just kind of like, I really want everything to turn out right for you. And I get the goodness that she's doing it with, but sometimes it can just be a bit discouraging. Like when I started YouTube, like 2 weeks ago, my mum proper called me. She's like, Courtney, you need to stop this. Like, and it was just because it was, my mum's a very private person.
Okay, yeah.
So she's like, you're putting yourself out there too much. And this is gonna distract you from your studies and stuff. And I'm just there like, yeah, but you don't get what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
So I think once I find out what I'm actually trying to do and know how to put it on paper and show that it's kind of bringing in a bit of money, she'll understand.
And do you know the thing is, I feel as though our parents, because they just lived, essentially we live in a very different time from our parents. Like now, most people, or at least most people that I'm around, like I always say your network is your your network is your net worth. So I surround myself around very like-minded people. So a lot of people that I meet want to be entrepreneurs, want to go on and be bosses and own things, and not just necessarily follow the status quo, which again encourages me. But a lot of our parents think in a sense of, you go to school, you finish school, you go to college, sixth form, whatever, you go to university, you do maybe even masters, maybe PhD, okay, cool, and then you go and get a job, and then you basically do a 9 to 5 where you're making consistent money, you get yourself maybe a house, get married. Do you know what I mean? They have the ideal of what life should be, and especially because like for us anyway, I can speak for myself, they didn't necessarily have that as in the comfort of oh, having a nice house and a nice car, because they want that for me. They feel as though the only way that I can have that lifestyle is by following that traditional route, whereas really and truly we live in a massively changing era where actually making creatives are actually making more money than people that are in traditional roles and actually enjoying it at the same time. So, you know, I think it's just a little bit different for them, and they can't get their head around how are you making video for YouTube and making money from just talking on camera.
It's really true,
and it's true. You know, it's
like yesterday I was talking to Sarah about it, and I was like, we're living in a world where you can no longer just sell your craft. You have to sell yourself with it, and like if you don't develop selling yourself as a brand, and like no matter what it is you have to do, even in networking and for investment banking or law firms, you have to have that personality there where you're like, it's not just that I can crunch numbers or I can solve cases, I'm quite nice to be around and things like that. You have to work on that, and I think that's the difference between our generation and theirs. What advice would you give to people who kind of don't want to take risks and don't know how to?
Okay, I love questions like this. I always say to people, if you know what you want to do, or at least you know that where you are at now is not what you want to do not be afraid of taking risks. Do not be afraid. Honestly, we live in a world where, as we've mentioned, it's changing, but there are still people, especially people at the top, okay, that want you to stay in the rat race. If you know you do not want to be that person, because fair enough, if you just want to have a normal 9 to 5 life and you just want to be content and get married, and do you know what, that is perfect for you, then do what you love. But if you know you are not that person, please don't get stuck in the mud. Go out there, try new things, be confident in who you are and confident in what you're trying to do, and go out there, explore, meet new people, network, and put yourself out there. So
that makes advice.
I think it's just honestly just about you and what you go out there and do, because it's not, I'm not gonna lie, especially with creative things, it's not gonna come to you, it's not gonna fall in your lap until you start moving towards it.
Yeah, for me it's just literally step out of your comfort zone and do it. There's no other way of getting around it. It's like you're saying, it's not going to come to you. You need to have a hunger for it and just do it. And yeah, sometimes it is risky, but you have to give it the benefit of the doubt and just say it could turn out amazingly.
And make like calculated risks. Like, we're not saying go be crazy, quit your job, because I really get scared that some people be like, okay, do you know what, today I'm just gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna, don't be a mumu, because then how are you going to pay for your bills? Then you end up homeless, then you're gonna come and try and blame us. Listen, okay? That's not our responsibility, but make calculated risks, okay? There's ways of being tactical in order for you to get to where you want to be, so make sure you do that.
Thanks for dropping by, Nissy.
No, I'm so happy to have joined Courtney, this beautiful girl. Honestly, beautiful girl, beautiful soul, beautiful heart, everything.
Thanks, so, guys.
I'm happy. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. We love you here. We really love you.
Make sure you go over to my channel. Follow me.
Go to her channel. Go and subscribe to her. Follow her on Twitter. Follow her on, are you on Instagram? Follow her on Instagram. Do everything.
On Snapchat.
On Snapchat, you'll love her on Snapchat.
I use Snapchat every day.
On Snapchat.
Every day.
I love Nissy so much. This is my girl. This is my girl. So yeah, she'll be on this channel one more, like again at some point in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Be educated. Be beautiful.
Your birthday was just
the other day.
I didn't even know.
No one knew.
Oh my! Why didn't you tell anybody? You silly girl.
Hey.
I'm shaming you. What you doing?